Read something about, now that we are entering Italy, about what we call the Papal States, or what used to be called the States of the Church officially. Papal States were a conglomeration of territories on the Italian peninsula under the direct sovereign rule of the Pope from 756 to 1870. They are among the major states of Italy, and we'll mention that the major states of Italy would mean Florence, Milan, Lazio, Venice. From the 8th century until the unification of Italy, which took place between 1859 and 1870, culminated in their demise, the demise of the Papal States. The state was legally established in the 8th century. The Papal States established in the 8th century when Pepin the Short, King of France, gave Pope Stephen II as the temporal sovereign. Lands formerly held by Arian Christian Lombards, adding them to lands and other real estate formerly acquired and held by bishops of Rome as landlords from the time of Constantine onward. This donation came about as part of the process where the popes began to turn away from the Byzantine emperor as their foremost temporal guardians for reasons such as increased imperial taxes, disagreement with respect to iconoclasm, and failure of the emperors or their exarchs in Italy to protect Rome and the rest of the peninsula from barbarian invasion. During Renaissance, the papal territory expanded greatly, and the Pope became one of Italy's most important rulers as well as the head of Western Christianity. At their zenith, the Papal States covered most of the modern Italian regions of Lazio, which includes Rome. So Rome is within the region of Lazio. Marche, Umbria, Romagna, and the portions of Emilia, all these formed the states of Pope. The Pope's reign over these lands was an exemplification of their temporal powers as secular rulers, as opposed to their ecclesiastical primacy. By 1860, most of the Papal States' territory had been conquered by the Kingdom of Italy, except Lazio, and as I've said, includes Rome, which remained under the Pope's control. By 1870, only the Leonine city within Rome was retained. The Italian kingdom refrained from occupying its military despite its annexation. In 1929, and this is important, the Italian fascist leader Benito Mussolini, the head of the Italian government, ended the prison of the Vatican City period by negotiating the Lateran Treaty. And I will read in a moment what treaty signed by the two parties, that is the kingdom or the leadership of Italy and the Pope. This treaty acknowledged the sovereignty of the Holy See. The Holy See is basically the Vatican part, over newly created territory, entity, a city-state called Vatican within Rome, limited to a token territory, the Vatican City, with the Pope as its sovereign. So what was the Lateran Treaty? The Lateran Treaty, and it is important because we will visit one of the major basilicas, St. John Lateran, was where the agreement between the Pope and Mussolini was agreed to create a city which is also a state called Vatican that will be ruled by the Pope, and then he leaves all the other states to the leadership of Mussolini and his successors. The Lateran Treaty was one component of the Lateran Pacts of 1929, agreements between Italy and Victor Emmanuel III and Benito Mussolini and the Holy See under Pope Pius XI to settle the long-standing Roman question. The treaty and associated pacts were named after the Lateran Palace, where they were signed on 11 February 1929. The Italian Parliament ratified them on 7th June 1929. The treaty recognized the Vatican City as an independent state under the sovereignty of the Holy See. Italy also agreed to give the Catholic Church financial compensation for the loss of the Papal States. In 1948, the Lateran Treaty was recognized as in the Constitution of Italy as regulating the relations between Italian Republic and the Catholic Church. While the treaty was significantly revised in 1984, ending the status of Catholicism as the sole state religion of Italy, the Vatican remains a distinct sovereign entity to the present day. And so it's important to note St. John's Lateran, where the treaty was signed, was and remains the official cathedral of the Holy Father, the Pope. Even though it's common knowledge that St. Peter's is a major area, but it's only for liturgical rites, but his cathedral is in John Lateran, where this treaty was signed, because the Pope remains the Bishop of Rome. And so it's important that as we enter Italy, that's a basic understanding of state-church relationship in that part of the world up to date. The Vatican City is a city within the city of Rome. It's a city within the city, but as you have heard, it is more than just a city, it's a state. And maybe it's important for people to know what is the population of the Vatican City. It would be important to note that Vatican City is a very small area with a population of hundreds. It has been one of the smallest area. Its total area is 0.49 square kilometers. And is you can imagine the population of a 0.49 square kilometers can only be in hundreds, and most of them are those who work, few cardinals and bishops, and the secretariat part, and so may not even be a permanent citizenship. But as long as you work there, a few of them qualify as the citizens of Vatican. It's very interesting because it's full of people, but all of them, including ourselves here, are visitors. We are all visitors in that city. So let's journey and begin and enter Italy with that knowledge. And in a moment I will by 2025, the current year, the population of the Holy See was 501. In the recent past, the highest was 506 2022. And that is Vatican City for you. Asanteni.